Greetings and welcome to Nimbus Christian Education. This video is a quick overview of what the student experience will be like inside one of our math courses. So without further ado, let's get in and show you what it looks like from the student perspective. When the student first logs in, they're going to see a screen much like this that's going to list the courses they're in. Once they click on this button, this will open up their course. Now, I do want to mention that by the time your student or child logs in, this is going to look quite a bit different because we're in the middle of a series of upgrades, so both this place and the other places that I'm going to take you to will likely look quite a bit different. However, much of the experience will still be the same. So in each one of these units, you'll notice it's broken up into chapters. Each one is an individual unit. You would click on one of these lessons, and this lesson will take you to StudyForge, which is the platform that holds the videos. This, for instance, is a video about multiplying
Let's look at
polynomials.
something slightly more complicated. In this expression, we can multiply the 2 with the 3 to get 6.
And they are fully animated. Many of them take far more advantage of the limited animations that you see in this one, and include various items as they go along. They also will, many of them will also include spots where it will pause, ask the students questions, give them an opportunity to open another applet that might run a piece of graphing software, all embedded within the videos themselves. Now, one of the things we've learned the hard way is just sitting a student down in front of a video and expecting them to just watch it. For some students, that's very difficult, and their attention will often wander, especially in today's day and age. So we've learned that we should have students taking notes, and for each one, we actually have them print them off on paper. Yes, that's right, on paper. And they will look something like this once you print them on paper. Now you'll notice that this is simply a screenshot of this same video, but with a few blanks put in. And so what each student is expected to do is, while watching the video, to be taking notes. And we have found this increases student engagement significantly. Our teachers will also require that students scan and submit their notes to prove that they've actually finished that task as part of their learning experience. Each one of these videos, you'll notice this one, for instance, is part 1 of 4. Each video is fairly short. You'll notice that this one is not even 3 minutes long. And there are a number of other tools here that will let you use this video platform. So this is the core of the instructional element, where the direct instruction occurs for the student. Now, each lesson has a series of practice questions attached to it down here, which, when you open them, will look something like this. And the question will be over here, and over here on the right, you'll notice there's a place for the students. They can draw, although if they are using a mouse, it can be quite difficult to draw using just a mouse. But there is also plenty of tools where they can type to put in their answers while they are working. And there's plenty of room, and even more so if they would really like to. They could do the work on paper and submit it, take pictures and submit their work via pictures. But either way, their work is done here and submitted, and that way the teacher can see their work. Now, when they are done the work, they are to check their answers here immediately. So right away, they are checking their answers immediately. So this is going to be, for those of you who recognize the language, this is assessment as learning. Here they check their work, and there are 3 buttons they can click on. A thumbs up if they totally understand it, a thumbs down if they don't understand it at all, and a question mark if they're really not very sure. And this sends feedback to the teacher, which the teacher gets reports on a daily basis that lets teachers see exactly how students are doing. Many of these questions will also have hints. This one I had opened earlier, so it displayed all of the hints immediately, but when you first answer the work on these, only one suggestion is revealed at a time, so that students can get limited help if they need it within doing the question. And by the way, all of what the students are doing in here is tracked. It's even timed to see how much time there is between when a student opens one of these questions and when they actually look at the solution. And if they are looking at the solution immediately or not actually doing any work, alerts are sent to the teacher. Sometimes it feels a little big brotherish, but it is really powerful data, and the teacher gets a huge amount of information about what the student is actually doing within this platform. And there are a whole series of additional questions throughout, and each lesson has quite a few questions that would go with it. So that's the practice problems that go with each lesson. Now, when the student is done the lesson, you'll notice there's a quiz underneath. Now, these quizzes are fairly simple. They might look like something like this. There's only a few questions, and they are almost always multiple choice. This is where we have assessment for learning. So the student will complete this quiz, and the teachers will get an email immediately letting them know how the student did. And this is, again, another place where the teacher is getting feedback to see how well is the student really understanding this content, and does the teacher need to step in and intervene to help if they're getting confused. And we often have them set so that students can take the quiz multiple times, and there's a number of different ways to apply these quizzes. But these are little exit slips, if you will, that help the teacher see if the student truly does understand the content. Then, at the end of each unit, when they come to this part of the unit, there will be an assignment to complete at the end of the unit, and it would look something like this. Once again, these are designed to be printed on paper, although if you have someone who is technologically savvy enough, there would be nothing that would stop them from taking this document, loading it into some other piece of software, and doing the work in that fashion, if that's better for the student. And these are simply pages of assignment questions. There'll be some often broken up into the different categories of learning, and then we will have a hand-in box where the students will upload their completed assignment. If they've done it on paper, they're going to need to either scan it or take pictures of it with a good camera and upload those pictures, and then the teacher will take this and mark this. If the student, you'll notice it says it's good to go or needs corrections. If it needs corrections, the teacher will arrange a video conference to meet with the student and review all the corrections, because these assignments are the review before the test. Once these review assignments are completed, the teacher will then send the test, often to a supervising staff member at the school they're going, or their parent if they're a homeschool student, and then the test, once again, designed to be printed on paper, and the student will complete the test, scan or take pictures of the test, and submit it once again back to the teacher, where the teacher will complete the assessment of the test. Now, in addition to these review assignments and the tests scattered throughout each course, and there aren't very many of these because they're so big, will be projects something like this. This is actually a grade 7 and 8 project, but you'll notice that it's 17 pages long because it's a substantial piece of work that requires some interesting research. This one happens to be all about spending gift cards and doing shopping and a whole bunch of interesting information about taxes and working on percentages. And so these are significant pieces of work. Once again, they can be printed and done on paper, or if you're technologically savvy enough, you could load it into a piece of software and do your work there. But these are significant projects that will require quite a bit of different thinking about how to use math, as well as some self-evaluation of the project and their work at the end to do some metacognitive thinking about their own learning. There aren't a lot of these projects because they are such a substantial part of the student work, but there are some in every single course. Now, I've already mentioned that one of the key things that we believe in doing is making connection between the student and teacher. It's one of the things that Nimbus really wants to strive for in this online space. And so we'll be using Google Hangouts to have video conferences with each student. In fact, some of our courses have an attendance requirement that students must schedule a weekly video conference with their teacher. And our teachers will have regular office hours every week that they will be available to meet one-on-one to interact with students that are struggling, or to review student assignments, to take up student tests, and so on. I also want to mention that at the very, very, very end of the course, and you'll notice it's not visible here because, of course, we don't want the student to see it right away, there is an exam at the end of each course. And it's important for you to go to our website and read our proctoring policy, because the exam must be proctored. And so there's a whole policy that we have that outlines how you find a proctor and set all of that up in order for you to complete your exam and have your exam submitted for your final evaluation as at the end of the course. Now, we have all these video conferences, but to be quite frank, our teachers do need to sleep and eat on occasion, and do something other than sit at their laptops or computers waiting for a student to ask for help. We know that students could be asking for help at any time of the day, given that we are operating in fully online. So we have contracted with the company known as GradeSlam. And you're welcome to head to their website and check out a bunch of information about what they're offering. But what the service they're going to offer, and that we will connect to each of our courses. Your student will get a login and password to go to GradeSlam. This will provide text-based support at 24/7, any time of the day. They can submit their questions, any elements of their work, and there will be someone on the other end in a chat platform who can assist them with their work, so that not only are our teachers available for regular video conferencing to work one-on-one with students, we also have additional support to ensure that our students' learning experience is the best we can possibly do. So if you have any further questions about what our courses are like, we would very much encourage you to send us an email and check in and see how we're doing, and we would love to support you and your students in whatever fashion that we possibly can. Hopefully this video has been helpful and will help you understand a little bit more about what our courses will look like.